Hey everybody, it's Cam, and I'm back for the last video in our solo Back 4 Blood series, where I'm going to cover Act 3 and Act 4. Ideally, before watching this video, you should have watched the one I made on Act 1 and Act 2 because there's some tips in those that I just won't mention in this one. But anyways, let's get into it. So here's the deck I used for Act 3. Like always, you don't have to use this deck, but while making your deck, the main things you'll be thinking about are doing damage, equipment use. And for Act 3, you should take some speed cards, because there are a couple of levels that speed is very important, especially when playing solo. Getting into the game, the basic game plan for most levels is to be slowly moving up and clearing out the ridden, and then falling back to areas you've cleared out when things get a little too hectic. While playing with bots, you should be pinging almost constantly commons and specials. I found the bots a lot more likely to start shooting when you do ping something. Also, throughout most of the levels, you should be taking a toolkit, because you're the only one who can open up the toolkit rooms, and they always have a health station and some money for you to pick up, so it is definitely worth taking a toolkit. Whenever you do find a health station, make sure you're pinging it, because the bots can use these health stations infinitely on a cooldown. Once you've moved up to the farm, make sure to not accidentally shoot any bullets off into the cornfield, because there are birds everywhere in there. In Back 4 Blood, a lot of the time you'll be shooting down at the ridden's legs for the sole reason that you don't accidentally call in a horde, because every horde you bring in is lowering your chances that you're going to complete the level. Throughout this entire series, I've been playing through the game without using any burn cards. So a good way to make it easier on yourself is to use burn cards, because a lot of them are very strong. The card I felt like would be very strong with the bots is Slippery When Wet. This card is actually pretty bad to use while playing with people, because real people for the most part will come and help you out once you get grabbed, and real people will also try to avoid getting grabbed for the most part. The bots in this game are so stupid, and they will run towards anything, especially crushers, meaning you can almost guarantee if a crusher shows up, one of the bots is getting grabbed. When the bots use a health station, they restore one of their lives, meaning they can go down again. This is very important because you do not want them fully dying ever. Once the bots are dead, then everything is going to come at you, making everything so much harder. So if one of your bots is missing a life and they're at full health, just shoot them and then make them use the health station. Speaking of keeping the bots alive, you should probably be using a sniper to do as much damage as possible, and having a gun that has good stumble is so useful in this game. Now we're on to Blazing Trails. I ended up getting an ogre, but the basic strat for all of the bosses is kind of the same. Whenever there is a boss mutation, it is best to take a flashbang, and hopefully the boss will spawn in closer to the start of the level, because I think the best strategy once the boss spawns in is to run back to the safe room. For the ogre, staying inside the safe room works perfectly fine. It can't kill you, and then you can just sit in there and shoot it. For the breaker, fighting it outside the safe room around the stairs is best. You should not go inside the safe room, because the breaker will come inside the safe room and absolutely destroy your day. Bring the breaker to the top of the hill, use your flashbang, and then kind of play Ring Around the Rosie, walking up the stairs and jumping off to try and avoid it while you slowly kill it. For the hag, honestly, you could just let the hag take one of your bots away. It doesn't really matter. Sacrifices must be made. Now, playing through the rest of this level, remember that you are on sleeper duty. The bots suck at taking out sleepers, and if they get caught, a horde comes in. So make sure you're running ahead and killing all the sleepers. Eventually on this level, you'll get to a point where everybody's favorite charred ridden will start spawning in, and you'll have timed hordes. I found the easiest way to deal with this was to rush through this section and try to get past this one bridge. This will make it so the time hordes will stop coming. After this, you can head back and start looting the area, and it makes it just so much easier. Heading into the end section of this level, this part is by far the hardest, so hopefully you have all the bots alive, because that will make it so much easier. Additionally, saving your toolkit to open up the minigun is a pretty good play. So when you open up the minigun, you should take it into the one bathroom all the way on the left side. This is where you'll be holding out with your bots every time you kill a set of nodes. After you kill the last set of nodes, quickly kill the big one and then run to the end. Cabins by the Lake is actually an easy level as long as you play it kind of improperly. Once you're done looting the boats and the cars along the shore, you'll get to the point where there's a ferry that's supposed to take you across the lake. Don't touch this ferry. It is so much easier to just get in the water and start hopping across. A horde will spawn, but they slowly come out of the water, so as long as you keep moving forward, you can pretty easily get to the other side. The most important part is that once you do make it to the other side, keep moving forward. You should at least move up into this house so that the bots will teleport to you. I found that if you stay along the shore and try to protect the bots as they make their way across as well, there will just be an endless stream of specials spawning in for some reason, and it makes it kind of impossible. Once the bots teleport to you, you're free to start looting around again and slow playing this level. Eventually you will make your way to this group of cabins, and this is where you'll need to find a battery. There will be a lot of alarm doors, but don't set them off unless you need to. For the most part, a lot of the cabins actually have multiple entrances, so make sure you check before you start shooting alarm doors. Inside the one cabin all the way on the left side is a good place to hold out if you do need to call in a horde. After you find the battery, there's actually a cool strategy so that you can prevent a horde of specials from spawning at the end of this level. All you need to do is call in a horde before you put the battery into the gate. So if there's a flock of birds or another alarm door, go ahead and shoot it, then take the battery up to the gate. Now we're on to Garden Party, which is a level I've played a lot, so I know a really good way in order to deal with the first half of this level. With your bots slowly moving up, you should clear out the ridden from this entire first area. There will normally be a health cabinet within one of these starting buildings, which is awesome because we're probably going to use it at least once or twice for the bots. You should try to clear out most of the commons before shooting the nodes, because after you shoot a set of nodes, a horde will spawn in, and it just makes it easier to have the room clear first. Once you have the room cleared, shoot a set of nodes and then run to the top side of this building and then go to where I go. This makes holding out so much easier because the ridden will have to funnel down 2 long sections, making it very easy for you to line them up. You can also take one of the gas cans and put it along this area to make the holdout even easier. As long as none of your bots go down, you can shoot another set of nodes and then continue this process until one of your bots go down. Once one of your bots go down, clear out the rest of the horde, pick them up, and then head back to the health station. Do this so your bot will get their life back and the rest of the bots will get their health back. Keeping the bots strong with all their lives is essential in solo play. Eventually, repeating this process, you will clear out this entire area, and then we move on to the maze, which can be an absolute pain in the butt. There are 3 different base versions of the maze with some variations, but for the most part, if you remember these 3, you're gonna do fine. Your main goal as you go through the maze is to not accidentally call in any hordes. This can be pretty difficult because you can scare birds on the other side of the wall without ever knowing they were there. So since we can't guarantee we're not going to call in a horde, I recommend bringing grenades on this level. They should be used for the maze section because I found a lot of the time I would round a corner in the maze, find out there's a reeker there or a tall boy, and then get absolutely destroyed. Having a grenade or a flashbang will make finishing this level a little more consistent. Additionally, on this level, if you don't want to take a toolkit, I think a stun gun would work well. The toolkit room on this level always spawns at the end, which isn't as useful as if it spawned a little bit earlier to give you another free use of that health station. So that's really up to you. Now we're on the T5. This is probably the level most of you were waiting for a tutorial on, because this level can be really hard. We do have a pretty good strategy to deal with it solo, but before we get to it, just remember if you leave the game before you die, you don't use a continue. This is awesome because that means offline you will have infinite chances to finally defeat this level. So getting into the setup, you should probably buy at least 4 barbed wire. You don't need to be able to hold 4 barbed wire because once you buy it, you can go up to the balcony and then throw it off. That way you can grab it once you jump down. Additionally, you should buy as many pipe bombs as you can hold. If you can't afford pipe bombs, buy firecrackers. They work just as well. And then heal up at the health station that is always at the beginning of this level. Once you jump down, take your barbed wire, place it at the front door and around the truck, and then start throwing gas cans and propane tanks around the area just in case you need to use them later on. You will need to save 2 barbed wire to use inside. These you'll be placing on the 2 sets of stairs going up, and we're doing this because you want to slow down the ridden for when you take out the ogre. Before we get to this though, the very first thing you should do once you get inside the house is check the basement. The basement should be checked first before the horde is absolutely swarming the house, because the basement really only has 3 exits out of it, making it a lot harder to get out of. I found the best strategy was to go into the basement, find all the crates, and then bring them out this one exit door, drop them all outside somewhere, and then go back in this exit door. This exit door does close and you can't open it from the outside, so make sure you're doing this quickly. After you have all the crates out of the basement, this is when you should do the setup on the stairs with the barbed wire, and then go into this one top room. Once in this room, hopefully you have all your bots alive, because you will be counting on the bots to protect you while you snipe the ogre. I did this strategy multiple times, and it seemed to work out pretty well. The ogre has no way of taking you out other than meatballs, which you can easily dodge. The only thing is sometimes you will need to help out your bots with taking out tall boys especially. Once the ogre's dead, it makes going outside a lot safer, and this is where you can start searching the rest of the house, getting all the crates, and bring it to the truck. Here's a cool map of where all the crates spawn in this level. So with this map and this strategy, hopefully you can finally defeat T5 solo. Onto a friend in need. Once you slowly move up looting the area and then go downstairs into the morgue place or whatever it is, once you open up the door, an endless horde will spawn in. So speed is key here. Search around for that keycard as fast as possible and then use it. Once you use the keycard and shut off the furnaces, the horde will stop coming and you can start slow playing again. Heading back upstairs, there are a lot of alarm doors. So if possible, try not to shoot any of them. Currently only specials can break them down, so hopefully you can get a special to break down the door, but if that's not possible, you'll be forced to shoot one of the doors. Holding out at the end of hallways, where Ridden can only come in from one entrance, are the best places to hold out. Don't try to hold out in the open whenever a horde is coming in. You will very quickly get swarmed, and that's a very quick way to lose. Moving forward, hopefully you bought a toolkit, because this toolkit room is a great place to heal up and get your bots healed up. This toolkit room is also a good place to hold out from hordes. After leaving the toolkit room, I don't really have any specific strategy for the rest of this level. You're mainly just slowly moving forward, taking out all the commons, and protecting your bots. If all of your bots are dead and you're getting swarmed at this last area, you could always just run to the end, but if you do decide to do this, make sure you look out for sleepers. On to making the grade, we actually have a few strategies that make this level so much easier. Make sure you buy a toolkit and then slow play your way to the school. Once you enter the school, normally you have to go past an alarmed door, but that's okay because the very first room on the right after going into the school is a great place to hold out. All the windows are boarded up, so all the Ridden have to funnel through the door. All you have to do is sit as far as you can from the door and shoot everything that comes in. Once you move up and have to take out the nodes, the easiest way to deal with this section and the best place to hold out is where the larger node spawns. No Ridden will spawn here surprisingly, so after you kill a set of nodes, run here, and then you get to shoot everything as it comes down the long hallway. After killing the big node, open up the tool room and heal up all your bots, getting them their extra lives back, and then you can make your way to the gym. After clearing out the gym, you can start up the generator, and then run back to where the toolkit room is. Doing this makes holding out so much easier. Do not stay in the gym, don't stay in the theater, run all the way back. Some Ridden will chase you all the way out here, but not a lot will. After waiting a little bit, you can go back in, grab the battery, and put it in the generator. At this point, an ogre will spawn in, and a few seconds later, you'll be able to climb outside. This is where we cheese the ogre, and it's actually very easy. You just have to go in and out of the window leading to the gym. The ogre won't know whether to go back inside the gym or come outside, and while it's going through the animation of jumping up, you can just keep shooting it. It is a very cheese way to kill the ogre, but it works. Now really all you have to worry about for the rest of this level is taking out sleepers before your bots get hit. Onto Road to Hell, you should be buying either 1 or 2 pipe bombs and a toolkit. For the first half of the level, you're just slowly moving up, killing things. Eventually you will get to the section where you have to find the chemicals. Something I didn't know when I first started playing the game, once you exit the tent and come into this warehouse, only 1 bile will spawn in here. So once you find the bile, you can move on. Only 1 bile will spawn into 3 trailers. This is important to keep in mind because these trailers usually have alarmed doors. So once you find a bile in one of these trailers, you can just ignore the other 2. Lastly, 1 will always spawn in the yellow tent on the right, which is also a good spot to hold out from hordes. After this, you can move on, open up the toolkit room, heal up your bots and yourself, and then move into the last section where we'll be using the pipe bombs. After you open up the first door, you'll be taking a right, and there's usually a swarm of Ridden coming around this corner. This is a good time to throw your pipe bomb, giving you enough time to take the corner and get to the next button. This entire section, speed is key. There is no looting to be done, so just run through as fast as you can. Now we're on to the last level, and with the bots, this level is pretty hard, not gonna lie to you. In this level, I recommend buying stun guns, at least 1 pipe bomb, and pain pills. After clearing out the first section, don't jump off the cliff, bait it out so one of your bots will jump off for you. Once the bots jump down, it will spawn in the ogre. This is when you should throw a T5 grenade and then kill it while still on top of the cliff. Once the ogre is dead, this gives you a little bit of free time, but ogres will keep spawning until you have all 3 nests destroyed, so don't get too comfortable. Speed is key. After you killed the ogre, make sure to pick up your pipe bomb, and then after you jump down the cliff, use it to distract the Ridden at the entrance to the big open area. From here on, you should pick up T5 grenades. Luckily, the crates are open now, so it makes it a lot easier to pick them up as you go, and running around destroying the nest as fast as possible. Most likely, your bots will not survive, but they are a good distraction while they are alive, so if you have time to pick one up, you might as well do so. Eventually, a second ogre will spawn. In my playthrough, I ended up killing it, but honestly, it's not worth it. You might as well focus on the nest first, because another ogre most likely will spawn after you kill the last nest anyways, which is what happened to me. So in my playthrough, I actually had to kill 3 ogres in total. A good technique to use while running around in this level, especially with the deck I took, is that if you're ever getting overrun, make sure to throw the T5 grenade at your feet. You won't take any damage, but all the commons around you will die. Plus you'll get a speed boost and temporary health. So make sure you're throwing T5 grenades as much as possible. So yeah, that's how you do Act 3. Now we're moving on to Act 4, which doing solo is absolutely terrible, and I found out one of the reasons why. While I was trying to do my nightmare no killing challenge, I looked into what decks the bots actually had on Act 4, and it turns out the bots don't have any cards going into Act 4. No wonder this level's so hard to do alone. The bots do have purple weapons at least, but without any cards, they are not that helpful. My first recommendation for this act is to instantly kill yourself and use one of your continues. This way you'll get an extra card, and this is actually a good strat to use in other acts since you already know the strategy where you leave the game and don't use a continue at all. Here is the deck I used for Act 4. You can replicate this deck if you want, but overall I think the most important things are quick item slots and weak point damage. In terms of weapons, it's a similar loadout to what we use in basically all the acts while playing solo. Something that does a lot of damage, such as a sniper, and then a secondary that's automatic, such as the Tech 9. But the most important thing to buy is a bunch of defibs. The bots are going to be dying a lot, but they're a great distraction, so bringing them back to life is very important. You also should be buying pipe bombs, and pain pills are good to take as well. Since you'll have a lot of extra money, especially if you do the strategy where you use one continue, you should be buying extra items and throwing them over the edge before you jump down into the area. With my extra money, I decided to buy some barbed wire. Over by the tires and this yellow light is where we're going to be holding out. So this is where I set up the barbed wire, because every time we kill one of the tentacles, a horde is going to come in. During a horde, you should always fall back to these tires to clear it out. Once the coast is clear, you need to move up so the tentacle gets angry at you, which will open it up for you to start damaging it. Once it does get angry at you, make sure you move back so you don't get hit by it. After you kill all the tentacles up top, hordes will no longer spawn. You could honestly just wait up here until all the bots heal up, since the bots will heal themselves on a cooldown. The only issue is roaming specials will continue to spawn, so it's up to you whether it's worth waiting out. If you do want to loot around the top area after all the tentacles are dead, make sure you walk along the outside edges, because if you walk through the middle, the bots will try to follow you and then they'll fall down the hole and they always die at the bottom. Once you're ready, jump down the hole, and this is where you're going to be using your pipe bombs. At the bottom, throw the pipe bomb because there's always a bunch of ridden here, and then you can run to the right side to where I go because no tentacles will ever slam here. You can try your hand at dodging the tentacles. It doesn't really matter. Either way, the bots are still going to get slammed by them, so I found just sitting up on this right side to be the easiest way to do it. During this section, you have to split your attention between killing the abomination, since the bots won't shoot it, it's all up to you, and also killing specials, since the bots don't have many cards and they're kind of just terrible in general. Moving into the next section, you should be using your sniper to take out the weak points. Take the same path I take, where you go around to the left side of the abomination, and shooting the same weak spots in the same order that I do. This is just the best way to do it and the fastest way, because you do not want to spend too much more time in this level. Anyways, that's how you do Act 3 and Act 4. I hope this video helped a little bit. Act 3 and Act 4 are by far the hardest to do solo. Act 4 is absolutely insane, and you're probably going to lose your mind. So I'm sorry about that. By the time this video comes out, the next update for Back 4 Blood is not going to be too far off, so hopefully you can use this video to get your ZWATs quickly before everything in this game changes and this video becomes irrelevant. Good luck to everyone getting your ZWATs solo, and have a good one, everybody.